Welcome back to Buzzer to Buzzer.
All right, guys. So the fifth week of the 2020 NFL season is officially upon us with our Chicago Bears kicking off this week's game. Now, guys, per the usual, we will be making our top five key matchup predictions, going through analyzing the games. So, without any further ado, let's get to it. All right, guys. So the first game which we are going to be analyzing is going to be the week opener, that being with our hometown team, the Chicago Bears, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, guys, I think it's safe to say that we're going to have quite the quarterback duel, seeing a previous Super Bowl matchup, that being between Nick Foles and Tom Brady. So, guys, let me get your thoughts on this game. Are we going with our hometown team here?
I'm gonna take the favorite team here. I think I got to go with Tampa Bay, just logically speaking. Last week's performance really kind of upsetted me. As a Bears fan, I thought the offense was going to get rolling with the quarterback change, and in fact, it stayed the exact same. We scored 3 points and then another 8 points in garbage time. And Tampa Bay's offense is high flying. We saw that last week. They made a 21-point comeback against the Chargers defense. Tom Brady threw for 5 TDs. I think their offense is too strong for us to handle, and I think the Bears get beaten this one.
Yeah, the Buccaneers are on a roll right now, to be honest. And if I go with the Bears, I would be disrespecting Arians' GOAT, Tom Brady. Not because of what they did last week. They were up against one of the best defenses in the league. It's just with strictly speaking about their offense, like Arian said. Even with Chris Godwin out, I don't think that's gonna stop him from doing anything. Mike Evans is gonna play like he usually does. Tom Brady, he's probably gonna like score how much he usually does. He might have a slow start, but you can't judge his performance based on how he does in the first quarter. And Nick Foles, no hate to him, I just don't know if he's gonna like play good. Buccaneers defense is also a pretty good defense, and against good defenses who sometimes quarterbacks underperform. We'll see how he does. The Bears just need to put up points because the Buccaneers are for sure gonna do that.
Yeah, no, I think this is Tom Brady's revenge tour against Nick Foles. I mean, he threw 500 passing yards and still lost the Super Bowl. Tom Brady wants revenge, and this is his first crack at it. He's going to come out and he's going to ball against Nick Foles in the Chicago Bears defense. But I still think it stays close. I think Tom Brady lacks a lot of weapons this game. He's missing Chris Godwin and a multitude of other wide receivers. Mike Evans and Scotty Miller are both questionable for this game. OJ Howard is out, so his starting tight end would actually be Rob Gronkowski. His running backs haven't been as efficient as they were like in the first week of the season. So I think it's going to be close because they don't have as many offensive pieces. But I definitely do think the Buccaneers win this game.
Exactly. I'm gonna unfortunately have to go with the Buccaneers as much as it pains me to do so, but it's just based on the performances we've seen Tom Brady put up at this age, looking like he hasn't slowed down one bit, especially what we saw in last week's amazing comeback he led against the Chargers. And this week, despite the Buccaneers not having weapons like Chris Godwin, LaShawn McCoy, I feel like the game is going to be more focused on the defense. It's going to be a game of whose defense can outperform the other team's offense. And I feel like although both teams do have good offenses with Tom Brady on one end and with Nick Foles just adjusting to the Bears lineup now, I feel like it'll come down to the defense in which the Buccaneers will slightly pull away. All right, guys. Now let's move on to our second key matchup, which we're predicting, that being between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, guys, it's no question that the Chiefs are very heavily favored against the Raiders, in fact, by 13 points. Now, guys, I think it's pretty justified that they're favored. What are your thoughts about this game?
You know, this is gonna be my upset of the week. No, 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 I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, obviously, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I believed in the Raiders. Actually, for the first 2 weeks, I even said that they were gonna beat the Patriots and upset them. But I've been saying this for the past like 4 games throughout the first 4 weeks. That team is just inconsistent. As also Harsh once mentioned, like I don't know if they're in like the top half or like the bottom half of this league. And the Chiefs, like there's no doubting they're one of the best teams in the league. Patrick Mahomes is going to continue to do what he does every single week against an average defense like the Raiders.
I'm gonna go with the B with this one. The Chiefs are just too much offensive firepower, and the Raiders they've been very inconsistent. I think their identity has been found, right? They need the running game to go well. Josh Jacobs needs to perform for them to win. And these last couple of weeks, Josh Jacobs hasn't really performed to expectations. And if your running game, as we saw in the Patriots game, if their running game can't get going, Patrick Mahomes can be on the field more than enough time to score enough points to win this game.
Yeah, no, for sure. You have to go with the Chiefs in this one. The Raiders have proven to be an inconsistent team, and the Raiders have been the team I've been watching this year. It's fun to watch the volatility of this team. They have the potential to be one of the top teams in this league, but week in and week out, they have a chance of performing as one of the worst teams in this league. So just watch this team try and figure out its identity is going to be interesting to watch, and I think the Chiefs are a big test for this Raiders offense.
Exactly. You guys covered it all. The Chiefs obviously have not only the offensive weapons, but the defensive weapons as well. Developing that run game with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, something which we're keeping track of throughout the season. I feel like it's just going to outpower any potential upset which the Raiders can pull off. So the Chiefs got this one locked in. All right, guys. Now let's move on to our third key matchup. This being a game involving a pretty good offense against a really good defense. That being between the Indianapolis Colts against Arian's Cleveland Browns, who he has had so much faith in. Now, guys, the Colts are favored to win this game. Arian, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is my upset of the week, no doubt. I think Baker Mayfield gets the train rolling again. Unfortunately, though, Nick Chubb is injured, which is a blow. But Kareem Hunt and their undrafted free agent rookies played really well last week, and I think they keep the run game going again. Obviously, we know what the Browns' offensive line represents, one of the best in the league. And their defense is not to be, they're not scrubs, right? Like they played really good last week. Obviously, they allowed a lot of garbage time points, but for the majority of the game, they played really well. The Colts' offense, they're missing Michael Pittman, I believe, right? One of the second receiver, Marlon Mack, he's been out. So I don't think the Colts' offense puts enough points on the board to win this game.
They say offense wins games, then defense wins championships. I'm going to have to take the Indianapolis Colts here in this game against the Browns. Yes, the Browns proved to be a great offensive threat against the Dallas Cowboys, but that was also against the Dallas Cowboys. They've allowed, I think, over 30 points in 3 games this year. And I think that's something you have to take into account when they're going up against teams like the Cleveland Browns, which have an above average offense. So I think when you're looking at the Indianapolis Colts, that's the toughest defense this Browns team has played thus far this year. And I think it's going to be a real test to figure out whether or not this offense is legit or not. But I think the Colts come out here with a strong defensive effort and they win this game.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Harsh on this one. If you look at the Browns' first 4 matchups, they've been playing terrible defenses. Bengals, the Washington football team, and the Cowboys, some of the worst defenses in the league. But week 1, they played the Ravens defense, and they scored 6 points. The Colts defense could even be better than the Ravens defense. And with a defense like that, what is the Browns going to do? I don't know if they can get anything rolling. I don't think that the OBJ and Baker Mayfield are not going to have the same performance that they did last week against this crazy good defense. So, yeah, definitely the Colts.
Cool. I want to jump in real quick before Rayon starts here. The Cleveland Browns are a run-heavy team, and the Indianapolis Colts showed, if anything, last week against the Bears, they are very good at stopping the run, and I think that's going to be critical in stopping this Cleveland Browns offense.
Exactly. As much as Arian, I want to hop back onto the Baker Mayfield hype and the OBJ. Heck of a game he had last week, given the credit he deserved last week as well. But frankly, I'm not sure if he can keep that up. And against a stellar Colts defense ranked number 1 in the NFL, keeping all their opponents in the first 4 games to 15 points or below. Last week, keeping our Bears team to 11 points only, and 8 of those points coming in a garbage time scenario as well. I feel like this defense is a heck of a defense, which has to be commended for their efforts. And I feel like any offense which the Browns will have will not be enough to overpower their great defense. All right, guys, now let's move on to our 4th game, and a game which has been going to be quite interesting to see. That being between the Los Angeles Chargers and the New Orleans Saints. Now, you might be asking, why is this going to be an interesting game with the Saints being favored by 7.5 points? Well, it's because we've seen the rookie quarterback, Justin Herbert, having quite the first 4 games. Despite the Chargers' record of 1-3, guys, we've seen Justin Herbert develop into a great quarterback throughout those first 4 games, having a great performance last week against a veteran, Tom Brady. Guys, our thoughts on this game?
Yeah, no, this is going to be my upset of the week. I'm taking the Chargers to beat the Saints here. I think Justin Herbert has been a very bright spot for this Chargers offense, but an even brighter spot has been this Chargers defense. I mean, they played a fantastic game against one of the best offenses in the league of the Kansas City Chiefs. I think when you're playing against New Orleans Saints, yes, they get Michael Thomas back, but still, this Chargers defense is prepared, and they're going to show how legit they are in this game by beating the Saints.
Exactly, Harsh. I'm going to hop on with you right there. This is going to be my upset of the week as well. Sean Payton today did come out and say that Justin Herbert's proving to be a great quarterback for the Chargers, just a rookie, but having a heck of a 4 games. And I'm going to buy into the hype. He's not only hype, he's proven it with the numbers, despite whatever the record does show. I feel like that the Saints have proven that they're vulnerable, especially after that loss against the Raiders in week 2. I feel like anything can go down with the Saints team. And despite Michael Thomas coming back, I feel like it's going to take a game for the Saints to get back adjusted. And that game will be enough for Justin Herbert to take advantage and get the W.
As good as Justin Herbert is, right, he's still a rookie quarterback, and there's so many things a rookie quarterback hasn't seen. We know Dennis Allen, the Saints defensive coordinator, is one of the best in the league. Their defense is stacked with players all across the field, and they're going to make Justin Herbert confused. I mean, obviously, you look at the defenses he's played, right? Tampa Bay has a pretty good defense, but you look at the week before, Chiefs defense, I mean, come on. Like, the Saints defense is going to –
I wouldn't say that about the Chiefs defense. They're ranked number 9 in the league right now.
Yeah, but back then, I mean, they were missing their 2 starting corners. They were
Back
missing
then.
2. Like 2 weeks ago, they were missing 2 starting corners. Both of them were injured. But regardless, I think the Saints defense, their pass rush is very good. Their corners are very good, and their safeties are very good. They're stacked all across the board. I think Justin Herbert this is his rough game of the year. And Drew Brees with Michael Thomas, his special connection. I think that gets going, and Alvin Kamara, obviously, what he represents. So I think the Saints win this one.
Also, going to have to go with Marian's choice with the Saints. I don't think this is going to be an upset of the week. Like, exactly what he said. He covered most of it. Justin Herbert has been doing great so far in this league. But people forget the Saints defense is still one of the, an elite defense in this league. Like he said, they have cornerbacks, they have the pass rush, they have the rush defense. And I don't know, it might be a little bit too much for Justin Herbert to handle. And with the addition of Michael Thomas being back, that connection that Drew Brees has with them, who knows? It could be prime Drew Brees again we see in this game.
All right, guys, now let's move on towards our final and 5th key matchup, which we're predicting, that being between Seattle Seahawks against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, guys, it's no surprise that the Seahawks are favored to win this game by 7 points because we've seen Russell Wilson just doing Russell Wilson type stuff throughout those 4 games. Abi, I'm going to let you explain who you got winning this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a big of a shock here. Seahawks all day. Russell Wilson will absolutely destroy the Vikings secondary. The receivers will absolutely kill all their cornerbacks. Their defense is going to be a complete joke when the Seahawks are done with them. And the Vikings are going to be a laughing stock of the NFC North, like they have been the first 4 weeks. This offense is absolutely unstoppable in my opinion with the Seahawks. Yeah, their defense needs a lot of work, but they don't need defense against the Vikings offense. Vikings offense is mediocre at best this year, and they just can't seem to get anything going. But that being said, yeah, Seahawks there's no chance the Seahawks will lose this game.
You talk about Russ killing the Vikings defense. What about Dalvin Cook killing the Seahawks defense? I mean, Dalvin Cook's been the best. Him and Alvin Kamara have been the best 2 running backs this whole year, obviously. Dalvin Cook's been on tear lately. We see the emergence of Justin Jefferson, the Vikings' first-round pick. He's played really, really well. I think the Vikings put up a fight, but in the end, you just got to go with MVP Russ. I don't think you can pick against Russell Wilson in this game. So I think Seahawks take it.
Yeah, I know. As it be said, this may come as a shock, but I think this is a trap game. Not for the Seahawks, but for the Minnesota Vikings offense. They had a good game against the Houston Texans, and they're riding high. They're like, we're one of the best offenses in the league, and they're about to play a Seattle defense that's complete garbage. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day because Russell Wilson will tear that Vikings defense to shreds and come out with a shootout victory against the Vikings.
3 words, been preaching it the whole year. Russ and DK. Russell Westbrook. Whoa, chill right there. Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf, I believe, are going to get things going right away, guys. We've seen what they've done the first 4 games. I expect nothing less. In fact, I'm expecting Russell Wilson to get back on that number 1 spot. Aaron Rodgers this past week in that Monday Night Football game against the Falcons sort of got to that number 1 spot. It's been a close MVP race between him and Russ mainly. But I feel like this game, Russ is about to come out and be like, hey, did you really forget about me? You really thought A-Rod over me? He's about to come out, give us a performance. Seahawks, easy win.
No,
Rayan, I feel a bit disrespected right now. Not me, but Tyler Lockett. You know, you've been picking DK Metcalf. You've been hyping up all week. Where's the respect for Tyler Lockett? I mean, this man is the wide receiver 1 still on this team. He doesn't fumble the ball at the 1 yard line. He brings the ball into the end zone for the touchdown. You got to put respect on Mr. Lockett.
For sure, man. Got to give the credit to Tyler Lockett as well. Him and DK have been lighting up the league. DK just proving he was slept upon, making everybody pay, right, Abby?
Yes, sir. You know, also, I just want to address what Arian said about what Dalvin Cook could do to the Seahawks defense. You know, regardless of how trash their pass defense is, the Seahawks, believe it or not, actually have the 3rd best run defense in this league so far. You know, Harsh was mentioning the stat earlier today to me, and I was like, oh, I have to bring this up. And I don't think that Dalvin Cook will do a lot, at least on when he rushes and not gets receiving yards from Kirk Cousins. But I do believe that the Seahawks defense is something they need to work on. They need their defense to be better in order to like proceed in the playoffs, go to the Super Bowl eventually. Do what Russ is trying to do on offense. They need to be a more balanced team. But disregarding all of that, yeah, the Vikings offense and defense doesn't really stand a chance in my opinion.
All right, guys. Boy, is it going to be another great week of football. Hopefully, the COVID-19 situation amongst teams like the Titans and Patriots does swell down. We recently did find out that Stephon Gilmore of the Patriots did test positive as well. So prayers up that COVID-19 pandemic does not affect more of these games. But one thing's for certain, we'll be making our reactions video the following week, reacting to these great games. As always, guys, do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, please, and comment down below your main thoughts of these games, your predictions you have. As always, guys, take care, stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. See you guys.